Hello and welcome to Relatable Code. In this video, we're going to talk about buttons in Android. So let's get started. So let's drag and drop a button from our palette into our screen. We can do that like this. And just like that, we have a button in our screen. Okay, we can alter the attributes of this button from the attributes panel at the right. You click on that button, then you click on that attributes panel. And you can change a lot of things about this button. You can change the text right here. You can rename it to click me, for example. You can have the text become all caps, just like that. Now it's in uppercase. And you can also, for example, change the background color of that button. Okay, for that you will need to go to background tint right here. Click on that marker and choose a color that you want. Okay, and just like that, the button changed its color. Buttons have a lot of attributes like other views in Android, so feel free to play around with all these attributes on the right. Okay, now let's add an action to that button, and to do that we need to reference it inside our Kotlin code, inside our activity. Okay, and to have a reference of this button, we need to give it an ID that we can track in that activity. And I'll show you how. Okay. So click on that button. Currently it has an ID of button 2. Let's change that ID to something like btn underscore click underscore me. Okay. I like to follow this naming convention for views in Android in general. btn stands for button and click me stands for basically the action of that button. Okay. After that, click on enter and click on refactor right here. Okay. Now this button has an ID of btn underscore click underscore me. Now inside your main activity right here, let's try to reference that button. And to do that, we need to create a variable. So create a variable here, call it btn click me, just like that, equals to, and now we need to link that button from the XML to our Kotlin code. And to do that, one way we can use is find view by ID. Okay, we need find view by ID and we need a type. The type is button in our case. Basically, it's that button. And inside these parentheses, we need to pass the ID of that button so that we can interact with it. And we can do that with r.id.btn underscore click underscore me, just like that. R stands for your resources and ID stands for basically the IDs in your application. Okay, now we have a reference to that button. And we can now attach an action to that button after we click on it. And the way we can do that, btn click me dot set on click listener. Okay, this is basically an action that takes place when we click on our button. Okay, let's just log a simple message right here. For example, btn output like that and button clicked. Okay, I'll show you how this works in a bit. So you need to run your application like that. So there's our application, there's our button. Let's click on that button and after that open your logcat. Here in your logcat, instead of system.out, after that tag and column, you will have to write btn output, just like that. Okay, and here the logcat filters out all of the logs that have basically this key. Okay, this key or this tag, which is btn output. Now, whenever I click on that button, as you can see, this message gets logged into my logcat. Okay, that's basically how you attach an action to your button in Android. Now, let's link that action to another view in our XML. Go to your activity underscore main.xml right here, drag and drop a text view underneath your button, give it some constraints. Let's say it's 40 dp below that button and give it an ID. Okay, let's just call it TV underscore output. Click on enter, click on refactor, and search for the text. Inside this text, you can display something like, for example, initial text if you want. Okay, click on enter. Now we have initial text, and now we need to have a reference of that text view in our Kotlin code. So here we're going to create that reference. It's called TV output, like that. This is a text view. It has an ID of TV underscore output. Okay, let's create a global variable for a count right here, just like that. And inside this action right here, we want to increment that count and have that reflect for the text of that text view. Okay, so here we write count plus plus to increment it. And now we need to change the text of that text view. Okay, after clicking on that button, we can achieve that by writing TV output.text, which allows you to change the text of a text view programmatically inside your Kotlin code. And we can have that equal to new text $count, just like that. Okay, run your application again. And there you have it. Click on that button. And as you can see, the text of that text view is now being manipulated programmatically after you click on that button. Okay, so to recap, we created a button in our XML. We referenced that button with an ID. Let's clear that. This is our button ID. We got that reference in our Kotlin code with the findViewById function, just like that, which takes a type and an ID as well. We attached an action to that button through the setOnClickListener method. Okay, we logged a message to make sure that this works. And then we created a text view. We gave it an initial text right there. And we gave it an ID as well. We referenced it inside our Kotlin code with the findViewById function. And inside our button click on click listener, we incremented a count, which we created right here. And we had that reflect for the text of that text view. Okay, like this. We wrote TV output.text, which allows us to change this text programmatically. Okay, we assign the value of new text and the new count to the text of that TV output. Okay, if you find my content to be relatable, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video.